What up, what up? Today's episode is about eliminating fear altogether. And by having no more fear and not living in fear and going all in on the juices. Okay? I like to think back to 3 weeks ago. Actually, no, take that back. 15th of May. Today is the 5th of July. And I remember at the gym in the sauna. This was around the first 2 weeks of May. And I've been considering how I'm going to leave the comfort of this place where I had rent-free accommodation. I had an allowance. I had everything kind of just secure. And all I had to do was just wait for my paperwork for my asylum to just go through. And I remember being so terrified at that time because I was highly considering just leaving. I just wanted to leave all that comfort because I was like, look, I can't sit around and wait. And I didn't like where I was living. I didn't like the situation I was in. I wanted to go and create a life of my own design. And I didn't like using the excuse of not having paperwork that's stopping me from doing what I want. Additionally, it was also the fear of running out of money because I was like, look, you spent almost a whole year saving up this money from your allowances just while your paperwork goes through. And the thing is, you don't know when it's going to come through. And I remember being at the gym in the sauna thinking how crazy I was to go out on my own without any source of income. Gonna burn through savings that took me a year to save. It was gonna burn through in just a few months, probably like 4 or 5 months. I would have ran out of cash. And I was there in the sauna with a notebook, writing down the math, trying to see how long I can survive, how much would I have to pay on sub renting, apartments and flights and traveling around. Basically, I wanted to travel and get experiences while waiting for my paperwork, and being so afraid of making that leap into the unknown and being on my own, and thinking like, oh my God, what if November comes through and I still have no money? And it's crazy that now it's July 5th. It's been I left on the 15th of May. I did end up making that leap, full of anxiety. And it has been a month and a half, I think about 40 or 50 days. 40 days later. And like by the end of June, I had received not a confirmation, but I had received an update on my paperwork that I am now allowed to work legally. And it's just so crazy how, had I not made this leap, in the end, I was following my intuition. And as a result, things ended up working out 40 days later. I did not need to live on my savings for 6 months. I didn't have to do any crazy things. I set a mediocre plan and I went about my travel plans. And 40 days later, it wasn't even like a few months, it was just a month and a half. And I got the paperwork that allows me to work. So now I'm sitting here at this farm stay where I'm also living rent-free. And I can now work, and I don't have to worry about allowances and the comfort of free rent. I can literally just go and sustain myself. Like, I have the skills, I have a lot of experience. I can get a pretty decent income anywhere I go if I wanted to. I can even run my own business, I think, without too much headache, because I've done it before. So it's just crazy to think, like, I was so terrified in that sauna, just like dreading. But I was like, look, I know I have to do this. I know I have to go my own way. We're doing this. And things weren't even as bad as I thought. they just ended up working out themselves and sooner than expected. And now I have a world of opportunities in front of me. And the best part is that leap was the scariest part, because now it's literally just do what you want. Like, just do what you want now, because there's no more danger of running out of money and not knowing what to do. It's all easy. It's all gonna work out. It's all just gonna work out. And all it took was 40 days of mentally controlling my mindset and not faltering towards running back into my comfort zone and safety zone, and persevering through that difficulty and building those neural pathways that I had to put myself in self-induced hypnosis that is going to be okay, and I'm going to figure out the solutions, and I'm going to find a way. And now that I'm here realizing this today, I'm like, hey, why do I keep living in fear? This morning I found this book at the farm that I was staying at. One of my favorite books of all time is called The Alchemist. I read this book 8 years ago, favorite book of all time. And it's been kind of my methodology the past 10 years or 8 years or whatever, because that book really hit home for me and how it translated into the way I behave and the experiences I've been having. And this morning, today's my last day here at the farm with the horses, going back to San Francisco. And I found the book in the bookshelf. And I opened it at this chapter that explained exactly kind of the situation that I was in, which was how finding some treasure, or maybe you're on your journey, following your journey towards treasure, and along the way you reap some wins and victories that then you become afraid of losing, that you're like, maybe I should just keep what I have and not pursue this legend of mine that I'm trying to go after. But if you don't pursue this thing, your heart will continuously cry out to you. And if you start ignoring your heart, you will lose the omens that you see from the language of the world that guide you through, like signposts where you should go, which is kind of how I've been living the past few years, especially the past 11 months. It's been stronger than ever. And I took me finding this book as another omen. I was like, wow, like out of all the days to read this book from 2017 when I first came across it, so it's been 6 years exactly, and my last day at the farm, and I find it, and then I realize, hey, remember how scared you were in that sauna, and how now everything is just so different, and it's only been 40 days, but like my life is just so different. And it's like, wow, like in the end, the universe is still out there, and how much more proof do you need to know that it's going to be okay? How much more proof do you require to realize that this is the only way to live? What has to happen for you to fully be cemented to go all in on the juices? What has to happen? How much more proof do you need? And I took that book as like, look, this is at first was me getting the work approval. That was the first sign that I didn't have to be so afraid. In the end, things just worked out sooner than I expected, out of my control. And then the second was finding that book again today and telling you, look, don't stop doing this stuff. Don't stop doing it. Especially the chapter that I opened in was the exact, I ended up reading the rest of the book in 1 hour. It was like 40 pages for the end of the book. And I just got rid of all the fear. And I'm like, look, this is, sure, the world is dangerous and you could die. And, the potential for bad things to happen is a real possibility. But to live in fear and to not listen to your heart will eliminate your connection to be able to have the universe on your side. And it only can read your actions and not what you want in your mind. Matter of fact, the real suffering is feeling those thoughts and sensations that your soul is telling you to do and not living towards them because of fear. That is the real suffering. The suffering isn't from the consequences of going after what you want. Because when you go after what you want without fear, you see the signs that lead you to where you have to go, and you build a deeper connection with the soul of the world. So this is a memoir to myself and to you, to go after that thing. Don't control your intuition. Don't suppress it. Control your impulse, follow your intuition, and go all in so that you don't lose connection with this spirit. I'll leave you with this. This is my last day at the farm, beautiful farm, and off to new adventures, and we'll see where I am in the next 15 months.